this. Oh, cute. And they march off. Wow, that was really cute.
I'm super shy, but wait a minute while I make you mine, make you mine. 떨리는 지금도 you're on my mind all the time. I wanna tell you, but I'm super shy, super shy.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I am a professional choreographer, dance educator, and professional dancer based out of the southeast of the United States. And today I am going to be reacting to NEWJEANS Super Shy dance practice. Now, this is my very first raw review reaction to NEWJEANS themselves. I've seen their key point choreography, their trends, their dance challenges of multiple routines that they've done, but I've never watched an entire dance practice of them as a group before. So I'm pretty excited about this. I've heard some pretty cool things just about the integration of different styles. I believe whacking may possibly be involved in this based on what I researched. So how this is going to work is I'm going to do an initial reaction just straight through, not stopping or anything, and then I'm going to go back and kind of analyze it alongside you guys. But before then, I went ahead and did some research without watching the video, of course, and I know that there is a choreographer named Black Hugh. He's deemed the father of NEWJEANS, so I'm assuming that he is a choreographer who has been a part of NEWJEANS' development as their movement style. I do not know if he is the choreographer of this particular routine, and so it'll be really cool to kind of see what their style is, because I did hear that it's pretty distinct in comparison to other groups. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, a lot of dancers. I know that there's like 5 of them, so most of these people are not from them. I'm assuming the front 5. Fun, that's cute. Super shy, super shy. I love the formation choices. Shy, super shy. Okay. So a lot of handography here, a lot of framing of the face. Could have, there we go. Boom. I see the whacking now. It does have some Vogue pose nuances here, but we can also we can cater that towards whacking, kind of carrying the aesthetic. Okay, this is the key point of the choreo. This is very familiar to me. The choreography actually makes more sense with the song now. This is very visually pleasing. I love the simplicity of this. Super shy. Oh, I love me a good canon. Simple overhead. Oh, cute! I love that formation choice. This is very tasteful. This is so different than what I was expecting. Okay. I kind of wish there was more variation between the courses. I know the formations are different. Oh, yes! Oh, that was a gorgeous section. I cannot wait to dive into that. Okay, she broke off a little bit more, like she added a little bit more of the chest in that section. I'm curious when I slow this down about their chest utilization of this. Oh, cute! And they march off. Wow, that was really cute! Wow, that was quite an introduction to them. I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm actually very pleased with that. That was great. Let's get into it. Let's do it. All right, so we're gonna start at the very beginning. I'm gonna lower it to 0.75 just so we can see things a little bit more clear, those types of choices. So I will say this is, I mean, For choreography, compared to the other types of K-pop choreo I have covered on this series, Jess Reacts, this is more of the simplistic in formations and complexity. But when it comes to technique, I would say this is really nice to see. So whenever you look in the very beginning here, it's very clear that you see your 5, so I'm assuming these are my 5 ladies, and then everybody else here are my backup dancers. I love this is really cute with the animals, with the puppies and the kittens. I love they look, I don't know. She has this very nice I don't know her name. I'm not really familiar with the 4th generation, maybe it's 4th? Yeah, 4th generation K-pop groups as much. But she does seem to have a very nice look about her. So talking through here, when we see this groove that happens right here, they're using they're actually isolating the torso in a very interesting way. They're using their upper back as well as their hips to create that fullness of movement without affecting the torso too much. Because remember, a lot of these artists, they are singing at the same time as they do this. So, and I know that a lot of what an ongoing trend nowadays is you want to be able to be super strong vocally, because people can strip away the back vocals and they can hear how you really are at a music show. So I kind of feel like the 4th generation kind of has a harder job of, they've really got to own their choreo and difficulty, but they also are having to take ownership of their vocals as well. So I'm very impressed with the choreographer and the modification that was made towards their torso utilization of that beginning section. So they still use the chest here, but it's not done in such a way that requires a collapsing of the carriage of the chest. So all of it is a whacking essence and a whacking posture, but the movements themselves, I would relate to more palm, right? Palm in motion, especially here. That's very palm positioning with just a simple, I believe that was a box step that they did. Yeah, just a box step there. And that was really cute of just having, I mean, these are just different various angles. And they just did, instead of stepping, they did little chugs per se. So you're just switching your feet at the same time. That was really nice. It was polyrhythmic, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. One person not turning and everybody else turning, it was very easy for me to focus on who's singing. And because I've never really watched these girls before, that's really helpful for me to know who's actually singing, because I can't affiliate the voice to the dancer or artist. So that was a really nice choice right there. And so they kept the same legs, which I did like, and they just changed up the arms at the top, which was great. And super shy. Now I will say I'm very glad that they did this motion here, because it helps me with other key points of the choreo. It actually helps those points make more sense. So super shy. So they just repeat the choreo, but they changed up the formations, and so it makes it look very visually pleasing in a different way. It shows dynamics, and it shows whenever you use your external, or when you extend your arms out, whether it's to the side, if everybody's facing the same way, it's going to look a particular way. In comparison to people facing a different way, it's more geometric, and you're creating different shapes using the same sequences. So I think that was, this is very nice, and they're doing a great job with choosing between being everybody facing the same way or going towards the inside. Yeah. Very fun. Then they get more complex in the verse. So they do a lot of these hand framing. I personally normally see that in Vogue whenever they're doing mannequin-esque posing, hand poses. So I don't know if this is whacking with a Vogue nuance, or if it is properly representing Vogue and properly representing whacking. I'm going to assume it's whacking with a Vogue essence, because there are not as many key elements to Vogue represented here outside of just hands. There's no death drops, there's no duck walks, there's none of those other components that you normally see at a Vogue ball or in that culture and community. So I'm just gonna kind of assume that that's the route that they took here. Go to the top. Oh, that's cute. And just go to the top. And she was the one that went to the top. Everybody else fanned out. That was cute. Oh, cute. I know that's like a typical thing that you may see in these types of videos or K-pop performances, but that was just a cute little moment that happened there. And she's like, hey, I'm just finished with my part, and now it's time for our next lady. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I have a feeling she may not be one of the strongest dancers in the group. Here's how I can tell that. So if we go back to the previous individual, and once again, I do not know who these people are. Notice how she's not utilizing her chest in the same way as my dancers were before. So if we go here, you see there's so much natural carriage in how she's choosing to make her nuanced choices. But then this next dancer or individual, hers is very limited to about right here. She's not leading with her sternum at all. She's kind of doing the movements as they were choreographed, which, here's the thing, nothing wrong with that. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm not saying that any of them are particularly less than or bad dancers. Quite the contrary. It's really difficult for everybody to be in unison, dance with professional dancers, which a lot of these dancers are. Not only that, be singing, but also be able to have an essence of a style like whacking all throughout your routine and all throughout your song. And so kudos to her. It's just, for me, I was able to tell the difference subtly between them based on how she chose to carry the nuances of her section in comparison to the girl before. So as they pan out, oh, fun! I love that section because I see that other people agree as well. Yeah, so she had her body moving consistently forward. I know that was partially a camera, but as she was moving, she had direct contact with that camera, and she was able to really commit to her presence as well as be able to strike and hit a lot of those nuances. And if you want to talk about like a whacking hand, instead of thinking, a lot of times people do plates, 2 fingers, candlestick, but what they're doing is more of like, I call this an allongé hand because you do experience this in ballet. You have more of, and it's more breathier, it's more airy, but in whacking, you can kind of have your thumb exposed a little bit more. But I really love just her presence with those dancers there. They did an overhead here. That's a basic whacking fundamental. You notice that they went from a more stylized hand into a more fundamental hand because they wanted to maintain cleanliness throughout. Fun. I will say they could have, and it's just, me being me, that back, how they striked in the back, which is your intention there. But notice she did not fully strike again. She kind of stopped halfway. So my thing, if I were working with them, was to ensure that whenever they do any overhead, to always make it clear that you want to hit it behind and strike the back and then bring it back to the front versus trying to stop here. The only reason why I notice that is because I have students, whenever I help them in whacking, that's something I try to help them with, is to make sure that strike is maintained 100%, not just in the initial, and then as you repeat, it is more difficult to get that consistent. So, but I would say I like these moments where these dancers are surrounding them, and then we have our ladies here in the front, and they're staying center and everybody else is framing them. I love me a good frame where everybody poses and strikes. It's so nice. And see, like, they're starting, some of them are able to do their strikes every time. When it's slower, it's easier to accomplish that. You notice that? So she striked behind and back in, and by opening the chest, which is what you're seeing, that kind of groove, or you're seeing that kind of essence throughout, that is what really helps with your overhead. That's why a lot of times it's just naturally there. So all of our backup dancers are down, and NEWJEANS is standing up, and so it's a really nice moment again, just to see them focus. And she has really great charisma, and you notice that she is a very natural, like, she looks natural as she's moving, which is really cool. Here's the key point choreo. Now, as they do it here in this dance practice, it's not as aggressive as when I saw it in the YouTube shorts. Now, I don't know how in dynamic. They are supposed to do it, but I know it was so 1, 2, 3, and very, very sharp for every single movement as they went down. And for me, because she has such a super shy, like it feels very conversational and more on the quiet side, I felt that this was very loud in movement in comparison to the tone in which they were presenting themselves in the chorus. But since I saw there's the backbeat that happens whenever they do that versus when it cuts out, and how she just did it was a little bit softer. So notice that it's not as heavy of a strike here. Shy, shy, not a minute, make you mine. Oh, the little Wayne cute. Yeah, so it's not as aggressive as I was expecting it to be. So I revoke, or I take back my initial expectation of, I thought there was going to be a lot of misplaced power in a lot of the extensions, but I am pleasantly surprised, and I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to kind of watch through this and really see what's going on. So that's fun. Hi, super shy. That's cute. Super shy. This is beautiful. I love the visual here, and it is really hard when you deal with a stylistic hand. It is really hard to get that looking nice and clean. I mean, if you look around, some people have more of a blade, some people have more of this kind of hand, some are more stylized. When you have nails, it adds just a little bit of an extra curve. So you notice everybody's slightly different, but what's really nice though is that it works in this case. Ooh, that was a really nice change. Everybody's facing to the corner. Normally you see people either face the inside or outside, but everybody made a choice to go diagonal the same way, except for our singer of that moment. And she's going the opposite way, which is super fun. That's a great choice. Super shy. Now notice what they're doing is that each one is going one move behind the other. That's always really fun to see, and it is also different than what you've seen already. So I'm noticing the trend that the courses are pretty simplistic, repetitive, they make sense, and they're meant to charm you in unison, and they're meant to charm you in just the aesthetic of it, whether it's the formation or how they choose to present themselves. And then in the verses, you notice that it's more complex. So they're doing more difficult formations. So they're moving, they're posing, there's other things going on. Very fun. Very basic overhead. You notice that because it was slower, they were really able to strike it there. And so I give that an A+ there. Fun. Good. And I said this earlier, I really like this formation choice here. That's really fun. And how everybody's just simply facing the back, and then you see them hanging out right over here. And I'm assuming that they're repeating the choreo that they did earlier. And I'm gonna have the same notes. Notice that it dropped out there. Personally, whenever you're dealing with a layering change, so if you have a downbeat that's happening where the like that sound is happening in the back throughout the whole song, but it dropped out there. And so for me, I personally feel that if they adjusted either how they chose to do this movement, maybe go slower or maybe change it entirely to match just that dropping out, but still signify a similar aesthetic, I feel that it could read a little bit differently, or it could match the music a little bit more. I don't hate it. I'm a fan of this. I actually really like this. But that's just if I was choreographing this, that would be a change that I would make personally to make it match the music a little bit better. And I think that happens a couple of times, just like that key point that I mentioned earlier. That was a similar note that I had there, and I want to reinstate that here in this position. And this is of course cute, and then she was the only one that didn't move or turn, just like in the beginning, and so that was nice. It was cute. Super shy. Same choreo, but you notice that the boom, 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 boom. I feel like, again, and also know too, I've been reacting to recently a lot of dances that have changed their content entirely, entering into the final course as opposed to, you know, keeping it the same. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it here, but I am saturated in that mindset of last course, new choreo. So do forgive me for that. I do feel that it would, because that bass is a little bit heavier here, they could either, you know, I know they're doing a different formation, so I think that's great. They could have done different choreo here, you know, but once again, I didn't choreograph it, and this is very popular by, you know, just by the fan base and just other people reacting to it. So there's nothing wrong with the choreo, all that to say, it's just, I'm just wanting to present just some different perspectives of how you could also choose to approach this type of song with this type of style of movement. Oh, that's cute. I like the fact that I'm assuming the one who was in the center, maybe, who was singing? No, she was the one singing. Okay. Super shy, cute, super shy. This is that part's probably my favorite part, easily. I love that because it's so satisfying. It's clean. It matches the bridge really well. Da, 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 da. That right there. Super shy, cute, super shy. Then pop, 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 pop. So notice that they are very simplistic in their feet. They're just doing baby marches, and they're not even huge marches. I think they started with more definite marches, and then they just made them really small because they really wanted you to focus on their overheads and their positions and their lines. And I know I see that more with whacking, that particular section. So that was really nice and tasteful, that section. And just the simple going from straight columns into the diagonal with that type of complexity in the upper half was really nice to watch. I love that. Love the circle, and they're all posing. I do feel I wish that she used her chest more, but if she was singing, I don't think it would be. Well, yeah, she is the one singing, so it makes sense why if you do that movement and you use your chest, it makes it look more full, and you would have been able to notice her a lot faster. But I'm assuming she's the one who was singing at that time. Makes perfect sense why she wouldn't have opted into doing that, because by doing that, you're running a risk of not being consistent with your breathing. Also, it'll be a lot harder to be able to stay consistent with how you vocalize. And because they're singers, you know, singers who dance, that's why I feel that her doing that was totally fine. Fun. I love those choices where they're swinging instead of just posing. They're swinging into a pose, and I think that just creates more da 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 da. Like, that matches the music pretty well there, and I really liked that. And she's like, we are almost done. I feel like every routine has that moment where they're like this. When they're in rehearsal, when an individual does a particular move or there's a particular section you hit, you're like, we're almost done. And, you know, it's almost near the end. Oh, and they have that super shy key point choreo. And I feel that she's utilizing her back so much, which I absolutely love. There's actually a chance I feel she could be hyperextended as well, which may contribute to her being able to overly accentuate those lines, which is, I mean, that's use it where you can. Now notice that choreo matches that part of the music really well. And so I love the fact that it was placed there. And it ties the routine together really well here. And Sue, I do like, and I love the simple just walking off with my backup dancers. Just going back to, I know they did this part, they go super shy, and I know they do that in the second course, I believe. They did it near the end. I really love the placement of that, going all the way through. That's a really good example of what I was mentioning of they did change up either the vocalization or they changed up the choreography to kind of make it still engaging and have you captivated in a different way, but it's not overbearing and it's not too powerful compared to the song that you're hearing. which is nice. And they go and they march off. I think that was really cute nuance there. That was super fun. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This was my first taste of NewJeans, and I have a feeling this probably won't be my last. Kudos to the choreographer. I don't know if it was Black Hugh, and I believe it was Kim Eunju. I know they've done stuff for NewJeans before. I don't know if they are the choreographers. If you are, fabulous job. I think it was great all in all. It completely caught me off guard, and in a great way, and I really enjoyed watching. And I hope this was helpful in some way. I hope that I was able to provide some sense of background behind any particular type of movement or execution of a movement if you yourself are learning this. Yeah, until next time, I'll see you.